What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgan. We're back with some Snowbreak Containment Zone. I thought I'd explain some of the mechanics in the game as far as the combat in the game, because it actually becomes pretty interesting whenever you start playing in, you start getting a feel for everything that is going on in the game. So in this game, guys, you have 4-star and you have 5-star characters. 4-star are your lower ranked characters, 5-star are your limited rank characters that you're going to be pulling in your banner system. And you also have weapons. Now, there are specific weapons that are designed for specific characters. So what that means is certain characters can use a submachine gun, certain characters can use a shotgun, certain characters can use a pistol. And in this game, you have 5 different types of weapons. You have your sniper, which is right here. You have your submachine gun. You have a shotgun. You have an assault rifle, and you have a pistol. Those are all the different types of weapons. And also in this game, you also have the weapons will have a certain type of element that's going to apply from the weapon, and the characters also have a certain type of element also. This is important because there's certain opponents in the game that are weak to certain elements, which is really, really good. It means that you need to set up certain teams that are specifically designed to take down opponents, right? Also, characters are going to have certain effects that are going to help take down opponents as well. So in the game, thermal and kinetic are actually have an advantage against biological opponents. Frost and electrical have an advantage against mechanical opponents, and chaos damage has an advantage against Titans. So right here, you see this weapon has frost damage. This weapon is actually strong against mechanical opponents, right? So that is something to keep in mind. So whenever you're facing a game mode, wherever you're facing mechanical opponents, you're going to want to have frost damage, or you're going to want to have electrical damage. And if you're, using a different weapon, say for example, I'm using this 100% battle veteran, this here is chaos damage. This actually is an advantage against the Titans in the game. So whenever you're going against a Titan, this weapon would have the advantage. And not every character has a weapon for every specific type of element. For example, there's only one weapon here as far as like the pistol. There's only one pistol in here, and it is kinetic damage, which means that if you're using a character with a pistol, this is the only limited weapon that you're going to be able to equip to them currently in the game right now, although there may be more that's going to get added in the future. At least that's what I assume is what they're going to do. But right now, currently in the game, as far as the pistol, as far as a character that only uses a pistol, you're only going to have a weapon that does kinetic damage, which means this is only really going to be good against biological opponents. So that is something to keep in mind whenever you're, setting up a raid up for a specific weapon that you are putting in here, because you want to make sure that you're pulling for a weapon that you actually need in specific game mode in the game. And when it comes to your characters, things get really, really interesting because characters offer certain effects. They offer certain types of elemental damage, certain advantages against certain opponents. So like Life here, this is a limited character that you pull. She is a 5-star character. If you look at her Frost Wolves, you can see what this thing does. Now, this is her auxiliary weapon is what this actually is. These 2 little guns on the side of her that actually shoot. And you can look at the kind of damage she does. So she does frost damage. So every time you use this character, right, and every time you use these guns, these weapons are going to have an advantage against mechanical opponents, which is pretty nice, right? But I also have a weapon equipped on her that has an advantage against Titans. This is the 100% battle veteran weapon that has chaos damage. So I got a little mixed combination where we have frost damage from our auxiliary weapon, but we also have chaos damage. So whenever I'm using her throughout the story mode, I get a little bit of the better of the both worlds. I don't have an advantage against biological characters because that requires thermal and kinetic energy, and Life doesn't have either one because I don't have a weapon equipped that is applying either one of those types of elements, and her kit doesn't offer any one of those types of elements. But in this game, you're going to have a team of 3 whenever you're playing in whatever game mode. So when we click on Yao here, who is actually a free character that you get, you can see that I have a frost weapon, a limited frost sniper weapon on her, which is pretty phenomenal. But if you take a look at the character, right? So when you look at all these characters, they're going to have 3 different skills. And the first skill right here is actually going to apply some kind of support, whether it's some kind of damage buff, whether it's some kind of heal, for the character whenever you use them as a main damage dealer. So whenever we take a look at Yao, she actually increased her shooting speed by 25%. She can increase her ammo replenish, which is really, really good, especially for a sniper character. But as you level this thing up, you can actually unlock frost damage. So you can see how that would be be very beneficial against certain opponents in the game. As we established, frost damage is actually strong against mechanical opponents, which is really, really good. So when you move on to the next one, you have the support skill, which is paid overtime in Yao's case. And the support skill is actually the QTE in the game, or quick time event. So what that means is you're going to be using a damage dealer, and you'll have your characters over in the right hand corner of the screen, and you can actually bring them in to apply this buff as a support. And again, some of them is healing, some of it's a damage buff, which is really, really nice. So you can look at each one of these characters and see what kind of buff they actually apply. In Yao's case, it is healing, which is nice. That is awesome. And this is the character that you get for free in the game. And then you look at their ultimate, right? And in Yao's case, she actually becomes invulnerable. She actually recovers HP, which is really, really nice. Actually, it's pretty funny. She actually sits in a chair, and then you bring in another character, do damage. And as long as they stay in the safe zone, they'll actually get a heal the entire time. It's pretty cool. Yao will actually be invulnerable during the entire ultimate. So whenever she's sitting in that chair and she's all resting, she doesn't take any damage at all. And you're going to be using another character doing damage, and they're going to be getting a heal as long as you stay within this safe zone circle, which is pretty damn cool. And you can run through here and look at every one of these characters and see what kind of buffs they actually apply. And these are important because you're trying to figure out a team that can get it done for you in the game. You're trying to look for the teams that are going to give you advantage against certain opponents in the game. So for example, when I come into fight and I go into operation and I go into dispatch, this game mode is a really amazing game mode where you can actually face bosses. And these bosses do alternate every week. Last week, we had 2 different bosses. And in here, you're trying to acquire these chips, right? And these chips are vital because they're going to allow you to get some sweet little goodies, my friends, which are going to be these right here. You can actually get shards for your characters, but you can also get these, which are going to level up what's called neuronics on your character to increase their passives, to add passives to your characters. So that way you can get more healing, get more damage, get more buffs, whatever the case may be for that specific character, which is phenomenal. And in operation against the dispatch, I'll show you guys a little run against this guy. Now, this guy is a mechanical device, and they actually show the weaknesses that they have. So this guy is actually vulnerable against paralyzed and slow effect. So whenever you're looking at your characters and you're looking at those support passives, you're looking for characters that actually would apply some kind of paralyzed or slow effect. Well, Life here, this version of Life actually does apply a paralyzed effect. And Yao actually, because of the type of weapon that I'm using, she actually will have an advantage against this boss. And whenever you take on this boss, right, you can actually start facing certain levels. So you're going to start off at level 25, and you're going to move your way up through the ladders. When you defeat level 25, you move on to level 30, then level 40, and then so on and so on. I'm going to show you guys a run against level 40, and I think that I had it maxed out. Yeah, I believe I had it maxed out. So let me bring up that run for you guys so you can check it out, right? So here we go, okay? So you see right there, guys, I brought in my QTE, right? And that is what's going to slow down the effect of this boss. And I wanted to show you guys this run because this boss is actually really, really cool because he does these charges. He jumps at you. You got to dodge these charges and dodge those jumps. But anyways, if you notice when I'm shooting at him, there's a blue text showing up on that boss. And in the top of the screen above his health bar, there's a little blue bar. Whenever you fill up that blue bar after doing so many shots with the right weapon that's actually weakening your opponent, you'll actually do like they'll actually get a little explosion. Whenever that gauge fills all the way up, there's a little explosion will happen within the boss where you're going to be doing a whole lot more damage. So it's really, really important to use the right type of weapon, the right type of character against certain opponents so you can do way more damage. And it definitely makes a big difference. In fact, it made a big, big difference just adding these characters on my team, and especially Life here, because she is doing that paralyzed effect whenever I use her QT. Right there, I just did it, right? So now I'm actually able to do more damage. And now that little device that I just brought out for her, that actually is increasing her shooting speed, but also applying some nice little heals. So it's pretty sweet, right? Very, very cool. Really cool boss. Honestly, guys, the boss is really awesome. Also, the bosses have weak points on them. So like in a shooter game, that's really, really important because that's going to separate the great players from the okay players, right? The great players are going to be able to target those weak spots. They're going to be able to weaken their opponents and do a whole lot more damage. But I mean, this boss was really, really fun. And noob right there, noob. I got caught, got hit right there whenever he charged at me. Still really trying to get used to using a keyboard and mouse, but I really think it's the only way to play this game. Again, this game is going to come out on July 20th. And it will be released on a PC client. If you're interested, you're definitely going to be able to play it on a mobile phone. But I really think the PC client is going to be the way to go for a game like this. I just think that shooter games are just really meant for PC because you can use your mouse to aim. And I find it's just a whole lot easier to do. But yeah, I mean, really, really cool. So also another thing that I found out, playing this game is for a long time, I would just use my limited character and I would just solo everything. But you're going to find, guys, you're going to reach a point where you're going to need to use your other characters. Now, here we go. There we go. We're doing Yao's ultimate, and then we bring in another character. And you see the little circle there, guys? We're in a safe zone. We're actually getting healed the entire time while we're in there, which is pretty damn phenomenal, right? And Yao is completely invulnerable during that, so that's pretty cool. So if you're playing with another character that has an advantage against a boss, right, and you use Yao's ultimate, you'll bring that character in, and you can start applying a bunch of damage while you're getting a bunch of heals, which is pretty damn cool, right? That's pretty sweet. Right, and you can see, guys, the gameplay is just so smooth. It looks so good. Like, man, it is lit like a Christmas tree. I just love how he charges after you, and then you have all these blocks that you can get behind, kind of protecting yourself a little bit. So it applies a little strategy. I'm kind of doing a little back and forth number here where I just do a couple shots. Whoa, watch out for that jump. And that AoE on his stomp is insane. He can hit you from anywhere in the screen. But yeah, and it also is, it's taking me a little getting used to always try to use my QTEs, try to bring in those characters so they apply the paralyze or slow effect or whatever effect I need to do more damage to this boss. But as you can see, guys, we got it done, right? Completely destroyed that boss, which is pretty phenomenal, right? And I'm going to, try to push this even higher later on as I level up characters and as I figure out more characters that are more useful in these particular game modes. Like this character against this boss really isn't the greatest, but like in this game mode, you can't use the same teams for both bosses. So like on this boss here, I actually used a different team, and this guy is considered kind of like a Titan. And you can see he's vulnerable against stun and slow effect. So again, when you have characters that have slow effect, it's really, really nice. Also, characters that have chaos damage is going to be really, really good against this boss, which is why I'm using my life here, who does have a weapon that does have chaos damage. So hopefully I provided a little bit more information about Snowbreak Containment Zone. Let me know what you guys think about the game so far. And the beta is going to end on this game in one more day. So if you have any questions about this game, or if there's anything that you would like to see in it, please let me know down in the comments down below. And I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. GG+7 time. The link is in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See you, everybody. Take care.